Exercise 5 on Tuesday's notes. Okay, here we go. Graph cosine 1/2 x. What's the frequency? 1/2. So, hey, if the frequency is not 1, it's not going to end at 2 pi anymore. So we need to redo our x-axis. Redo our x-axis. And I purposely put pi over 2 pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi, because you guys are going to cross them out and put new values. All right, so is everyone good on that first part today? If the frequency, the b value, is not 1, it's not going to end at 2 pi, which means I need a totally different x-axis. All right, so here are the values I'm going to need to graph. Let's start with the easiest ones, max and min. B value does not affect max and min. Does not affect max and min. You know where to find the max and min. What are the max and min going to be for this curve? I got 13 in the house. Yep. Yeah, that's that. It's the number out in front, 1. And is there a shift? No, I don't even have to worry about a darn shift at all. Okay, here's the new part we got to worry about while graphing now. Period. Got to know when this curve is going to end. What's going to be my last value on the x-axis? 2 pi over b. What is the b value here? 9? 1/2. 2 pi divided by 1/2, and hopefully you didn't leave it like this on the quiz yesterday. You keep change flipped. 2 pi times 2. So where's this curve going to end? At 4 pi. So the last number on my x-axis is going to be 4 pi now. I still need to know what the heck's in between, though. I know it's going to go from 0 to 4 pi, but what's in between? This is where we now set up where our key values are going to be. Our key values. Quick question. When I set up your curve like this, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi, how many equal sections did we break the x-axis up into? 4. So that's what you're going to divide your period by. I know it goes out to 4 pi, and I want to take that length, 4 pi, and divide it every time, every graph, every time, by 4 equal sections. And that tells me there's going to be, and when I say a key value, a max, a min, a midline value, every pi units. Every pi units. This is only for the x-axis now. So I take my period, divide it up into 4 equal parts. You ready for a new x-axis? I'm still going to start at 0, but the next value is going to be pi now. And I'm going to go by pi. So 0, pi, add another pi. 2 pi. 3 pi. And shockingly, where do we end? Where we should, at the period. That's how long it's going to take to make this curve. I should always end at whatever the period is. And that's it. That's all I got to teach you today. Now you're going to graph it, and it's going to stay the same. You ready? Let's do this. 12. Where's cosine start? Max. What's the max in this part? 1. Okay, guys, look. When you're done changing the x-axis, nothing's going to change here. Cosine starts at the max, then goes where? 9? 0. Midline, right? In this case, it's 0. So at pi now, it's going to be 0. Still graphing the same darn curve, just with a different x-axis. 0, I'm sorry, max, midline. We're in 2 now. 8. Max, midline. Do I have an 8 in the house?
What was the question?
Cosine curve. Max, midline. Where's the next point go on the cosine curve? Minimum, -1. Then we're after the minimum. At 4, we're after the minimum. 4.
Oh, that's me. To the 0.
Midline. Yep. Let's start calling it midline, guys, right? Because it may not be 0 here. Let's start calling it midline, which is the shift. And then where does the cosine curve end? Here you go, 4 again. The maximum, which is 1 for us. So you guys see it's the same curve, just at different spots on the x-axis. There you go. Questions, comments? Let's keep grinding. That's all I'm going to show you today. Is redo your x-axis if the frequency is not 1. Max and min. I need to know the max and min, because max and min for this one. 12, max and min.
1 and
Yep. I do see the frequency is different than 1. So that's a new x-axis. So the first thing I do, find the period to find my new, what I'm going to break it up into. 2 pi divided by b. B value, go. What's my b value? 6, b value. 6. Oh, one job. B here. 11. Okay, everyone ready? 2 pi divided by pi over 4. Are we comfortable handling this at this point now in the unit? 2 pi times 4 over pi, what happens? Pi's cancel. So the period's going to be, so that's where your graph should end, at 8. Not 8 pi, just 8. 8 radians. Just 8. Get ready to break it up. Okay, key values. This is what I'm going to go by on the x-axis. Take 8 and cut it into how many equal pieces? 4 equal pieces. So that means I'm going to go by 2s. All right. All right, this is what's going to happen now. You just have a plain old piece of graph paper. You set it up yourself now. All right, you set it up yourself. So let's get our y-axis right along the, don't want that. Let's get a black one out. Y-axis along, x-axis about halfway in between. I prefer that if this thing stretched out as far as possible instead of just crunched. All right, now I say we're going by 2s. That doesn't mean you have to go by 2 tick marks. Take a look, everyone. I can go watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I just make sure the spacing is the same. All right, just make sure the space, I like them spread out, not a little small graph in the corner of the left side. Just as long as what you space them out to be. All right, what are my labels going to be now? What are my labels on the x-axis going to be? And then we'll do the y. What am I going by? So what am I going to start the first tick mark with? 9, what am I going to start my first tick mark here with? 2, yeah. And I'm going to go by 2s. 2, 4, 6, should always end at the period. Everyone see? Always end at the period. Y-axis. Hey, ready? Y-axis should always have your max, min, and when we get to it in a second, the shift. All right, so however you want to space. Hey, that doesn't mean this has to be 1 and -1. Space them out if you want. Space them out. But it should at least have min, max, and shift on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure. There's a good space. 1, 2. Again, I don't care as long as they're the same on the positive and negative direction. All right, guys, go ahead. Graph the sine curve. All right, this is sine. Goes up to 1, down to -1. The frequency has no effect on how high and how low it goes. So think about where does it start, where does it go, and graph me the sine curve. Only thing that's changing is your x-axis. That's it. Only thing that's changing. Anything else you want to ask? Because now I'll throw a number out in front. Think we can handle that? If I throw a new number out in front, maybe shift something around. Any questions here? We're all good? Okay, so let's go to next day here. Oh boy, yeah, we're getting crazy. Five cosine 1/2 x. Help me graph it. Min max, what do you got? Min and max of that one. 6, min and max. Not here. 14, min and max. 5 and -5. Yep, no shift to worry about. So just go up to the A value. Yep, go ahead, Orion.
The max is 5.
Why don't you relax? There you go, fixed. Relax. Now we know more than than me. All right, great. Period. 2 pi divided by, what's my B value? 1.
Half.
Yep. 2 pi divided by 1/2. You guys know the deal from here. Times 2, so 4 pi. So I know in the back of your head the graph's going to end at 4 pi. Key values take your period, cut it up into 4 parts, so every pi. Any issues with this? I know it seems easy now, but the equations are going to get a little more complicated. That's why I'm going to go through these a little quicker than normal. So let's set up our x and y axis. All right, can I have one of you guys label my x-axis for me? 11, what's the first spot on my x-axis going to be labeled?
Pi.
Yep, keep going.
2 pi.
2 pi,
3 pi.
and
3 pi.
there you go. And I'll keep saying it. Might get annoying if it's not already. Ends at the period. Ends at the period. Y-axis, min, max, shift have to be on there. All right, your min, your max, and your shift should be on the y-axis. So I have no shift on here to worry about, but I should have 5 and -5, however you want to label it. I probably should go by ones here. 5. And then we're graphing cosine. All right, then we're graphing cosine. Questions there? We're all good? Okay, I'm going to let you do the next one on your own. The only thing, what do we got to watch out for on the next one?
Negative.
And what's that tell me, the negative? Make sure a min goes to a max, max goes to a min. Yeah, same rules, same rules. The only thing is different, x-axis will be different. So go ahead. I'll give you guys a minute or two to see if you can graph this one on your own, because we'll do the next one together. That looks like a beast. Just flipping my min and max here. Still starting at 0, there's no shift. All right, good deal, good deal. Does anybody have any questions? See some of you guys going on to the next one and being like, oh, wait a second, what's going on here? All right, this next one here, not too much, the confusion is going to be what to do on the x-axis. All right, so I got it, I threw everything at you here. You got a negative, an A value, a B value, and now a C value. Okay, so I got everything I'm throwing at you here. All right, let's start. My values, max. It was 2, right? But as we know from before the quiz, I shifted it where? Down 1, so my new max is going to be 1, excuse me. Minimum was -2. I went down 1, so my new minimum, -3. I do have a shift here, right? If you want to jot that down, fine. Because when I say midline, that's where we're going to graph. All right, so I don't know, shift, down 1. All right, let's talk x-axis because I think this is going to be it's not confusing. It's just a little, it hasn't been like what we've had. So period, here we go. 2 pi over b. All right, going back to you guys. What's my b value? What's my frequency? What's in place of b here? 12. What's my b value in the equation? 2, yep. So this will be what? Pi. So at least I know when I set up my graph what should be on my last tick mark. Pi, right? That's what it means. The graph's going to end at pi. Here's the confusing part. Let's do key values now. Because I got to take that full period pi and break it up into how many equal parts? How many equal parts? 4. Okay, so my key values are going to be every pi over 4. And I understand this is where the confusion is. What do I do with that now? All right, set up your x-axis. Let's go. Set up an x and a y-axis. I'll help. If you want to do your y and get it over with right now, what value should be on your y-axis? 1, -3, and min and max, and also now because there's a shift, the shift has to be on there too, or the midline, -1. So you should have 3 values on your 1, -3, -1. They should all be labeled clearly on your y-axis. Those 3 values, min, max, and midline. However you want to space them out, just make sure the spacing is consistent. If you have more numbers on there, that's fine. And then let's get our x-axis now. All right, you know your last tick mark's got to be what again? The period, right? And your first one's got to be what? Pi over 4. All right, now how do I determine what goes in the middle? We're going to add pi over 4 every time. Ready? Nice and slow. Pi over 4 plus another pi over 4. 2 pi over 4. Pi over 2. This is what we just did. Pi over 4. Sorry. Pi over 4 plus pi over 4. Denominator stays the same. 2 pi over 4. All right, add another pi over 4. Add another 2 pi over 4 plus another pi over 4. 3 pi over 4. Now, how do I get to pi at the end? Add another pi over 4. What would it be? 4 pi over 4, which would be 4's cancel. That's where the pi comes. All right? So that's how I'm going to keep adding them together. Just keep adding pi on top. All right, you ready to graph for me now? It's going to be a tough one. We got to remember all the darn rules. All right, who's up? 3. Where's 3 at? 3? Okay, Elizabeth Ray, where does sign start?
0.
Right, 0, I'm going to start saying it starts at the midline. Because where's my midline here?
Do you think we should make a dotted line of the midline?
That's up to you. If that helps you out, go right ahead. Okay, that helps you out. I'm going to stop saying 0, though, in this class and say midline now. All right, so where should my first point be? At -1, yep. Sign starts at the midline, then goes where? Who's got 12? 12? Usually goes to the max, right? What do I have on this equation, though? A negative, right? So it's not really going to go to the max. It's going to go to the mid, -3. Everyone with me so far? Now where should sign go? After this whole min-max thing, where's it go next? 1?
Goes to midline.
Midline, back to the midline. Yep, so -1. Now where? 9?
Max.
Max, usually the min, but we got to flip it. So max, 1. And where does sign end? 14?
-1.
Back at the midline. So for us, -1. Yep. That's everything I can throw at you now. Nothing is going to get harder than this. This is as much as I can throw at you in one graph. New x-axis, shift, flip. Questions? All right, try that last one on your own. Let's see what you got in you. Dig deep. You got a flip, a shift, a new x-axis here. Take your time, list all your values first. Min, max, midline, period, key values. You guys can have more than enough faith in you guys. You'll be fine. If your frequency is not 1, it's not going to end at 2 pi anymore. Once we match and you think you're good, keep grinding. Let's go. Turn that page and keep working. Yeah, we got some Plenty of practice there for you. Perfect.